Hey guys, welcome back to Community PC Builds. So today we're going to be going over the first part of our build, which we're going to be selecting as the motherboard. Now we believe the motherboard is probably a main component of setting everything out. So basically decide what you want your motherboard, like what you want your CPU to be, like what brand you want it to be, then you got to get a motherboard that's compatible for that as well. So like the motherboard kind of sets the, how do you put it? Kind of sets the pace in this series. So once we've got the motherboard set up, then we know what kind of brand we're going for CPU, so we can decide which generation, which one we want. If it's going to be an Intel, we're going to go like i5, 7, 9, depending on how much you want to spend. Remember, we're keeping this first build in a $5,000 Australian dollar budget, so we've got to make sure you don't blow it all in one go. So you've got to try and work out what is going to fit in this build without going too much with one part. So personally, I wouldn't want to spend more on the motherboard than what's needed. So just make sure you got your main connections at the back of it. You can have enough USB ports on it. If you want it to be with built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, or you don't mind not having that because you're just going to run straight Ethernet or whatever the case is. Another part is it going to have enough, is it going to be compatible with the new generations of processors as well. So like now you've got your Z790s for your Intel i12s and sorry, not i12s, 12th and 13th gen. So you just got to take into consideration all those different things. So we're going to jump across to the computer now, and I'm going to bring up 5 examples of what I think is pretty good. I'm going to start off with like a reasonable price, like the one that I started with, and then going to work our way up. We'll show pretty expensive ones. Depends, are you going to be overclocking a lot? Is it capable? It's not going to bottleneck with all the compartments you have to fit in. So it's a lot to take in, but you really need all this to be able to, how you put it, you really need to have this compatible with what you want. So you kind of got to jump online if you're not too sure, go look around what's available, and from there you're going to come back if you want and leave a comment, because remember, the comment with the most likes basically means it's agreed upon by the majority. That's the one we're going to be putting into our build. So just make sure you got that built into it, because if not, then you might be disappointed, because we are going to follow through with this and we need to make sure that we select the right one, the one that everyone wants. So let's get into it. Alright, so first up we've got the Gigabyte Z790 Gaming X AX Rev 1. So this is the motherboard that I've got on my build that you've seen in the previous videos. I'm pretty happy with it. It's got the new socket that supports 13th and 12th gen series. So I've got the i9 13th gen. I've got DDR5, this is what's compatible with. What else we got? We got 4 PCIe 4.0, so M2 connectors, so that's for the storage. At the moment I've currently got 1 in mind, but I'm going to be adding 2 to 3 more, probably 2 gigabyte ones, so for all the recording while I'm making the videos, I need somewhere to store it and I don't want to be taking it up on my main drive. So you've got to take into these considerations. Are you going to be making videos with it, or are you just going to be streaming? If you're streaming, it's probably not a bad, probably don't need so many, but because I want videos, I want fast, fast transfers. That's why I wanted to make sure I had 4. I'm pretty sure 4 is pretty standard now anyway. DC Wi-Fi 6E, that's like the new or the next gen Wi-Fi, so to speak. Wi-Fi 6E apparently. I'm not really know-it-all on the Wi-Fi section, but all I know is a lot of things that didn't have the E on the end, people like it was like a negative. So anyway, it's got, for me, it's got USB-Cs, it's got USB-A, it's got USB 3.0s, whatever. It's got everything on it that I wanted, so I basically went with that. Anyway, so yeah, that's the one I went with. If you want to go over the settings, that's kind of the layout of it. Yeah, you would have, if you've watched my previous video, you would have seen it in the video. Probably not shown off that well, as it was the first one. But yeah, there you go. So it has, it covers all the specs that I wanted. So if you want to have a quick pause on this screen, or I'll leave the links below for all the pages we went to. You can click on them and have a look at it from them, and then come back and comment which one you prefer, or do your own research, because that's what it's all about, is like you guys giving your own input to this. So anyway, so then next one is the ASUS ROG Maximus. There's another Z790, so they're like the newer generation ones. So that's what all these are, for the record, all these are going to be Intel, mainly because that's what I've kind of stuck with through the years. I've got a laptop that has a Ryzen, but I'm more stuck with Intel. So this is just personal preference. So all the ones I'm showing now are just Intel. That's all I'm getting at. So that's a nice looking motherboard, nice colors on it, enough USB ports at the back and ports. It's also got built-in Wi-Fi. Another thing is if you're interested in the sound output, that might be another thing you might want to take into consideration as well. I really do like the colors of this one. That's really nice. Kind of goes with the 480 that I've got. Anyway, maybe another build for myself. So yeah, that covers everything on here. Yeah, this is kind of like the socket for the new one as well, the LGA 1700. So just another thing to take into consideration. So next we have the ASUS Tough Gaming Z790 again, plus Wi-Fi. Basically covers everything. There you go. See, this one's DDR4, so I don't know if this is compatible with DDR5. That's another question. Let me have a quick look. RAM DDR4. So, you know, if you're not too fussed about it, this is another good option. More of a higher end series as well, but like I said, it's just DDR4. So I'm guessing that's what the D4 is for on this one. And again, it's got, where's that picture gone? This one's got built-in Wi-Fi as well. There you go. There's the dongle for it. There's the ports at the back. See, like those two little gold ports at the back where you can screw it in. If it's got that, normally it's got built-in Wi-Fi. So for me, I like Wi-Fi. I'm quite happy with it. I'm not doing anything at the moment that requires super fast direct connection with Ethernet. I've never really used it, so you know, it might be up to you that you need it. Next one is a MSI MPG Z70 Carbon. So this one's actually a really nice looking unit as well. All blacked out, MSI logo. So this is basically just like the kit itself. It covers everything. So there you go. It's got the latest DDR5, Lightning USB, latest Wi-Fi 6Es. You got your PCIe slots. Easy to use. So basically, they're all very similar. It's just you got to remember, like, also how many fans you're going to run. Doesn't have enough power for the fans you want. RGB. I think you got the new RGB. I forget what it's called. It's just gone blank at the top of my head. So that's another thing you got to take into consideration as well. Well, there you go. There's kind of like the back of it. You got all your ports. HDMI. I'm pretty sure we're all going to be using an independent graphics card, so you will not be using this port. Disregard it. Never plug your monitor into this HDMI port if you've got a dedicated graphics. So there you go. Pause this. If you want to go through the specs, it's all up to you. Now, the next one we're going to bring up is kind of an expensive one. I've heard this one's really good for overclocking. If you're right into that, it's just really capable. So we've got the ASRock Z70 Taichi Carrara. I don't know really how to say that, so don't pick on me. In Australia, this is $1,000, so it is a very expensive motherboard. Now, this is one thing you got to remember as well. Like, we got to keep this in a budget. Do you want to blow $1,000 straight up on a motherboard, or do you want to drop half of that on it, and then you've still got a fair amount left over? This really comes down to what you're after. Don't forget, we've got to add like fans as well, like a case. You know, you want to worry about your RAM, your graphics, what size power supply you want. Like, all this needs to take into consideration that all costs money as well. So just be mindful that that is something you have to look at as well. Anyway, this is a really nice looking motherboard. I've heard this is, if you're into overclocking, this is what I've heard this one you should be going for. It is quick. But again, everything comes at a price. So there you go. That is the 5 motherboards that I've kind of been looking into and the ones that I was going over when I was doing the research for mine. In the end, I stuck back with the Gigabyte. It pretty much had everything I wanted at a reasonable price. It wasn't overpriced. I probably could have gone with the ASUS as well, but look, man, I just went with the Gigabyte. Like I said, very happy with it. Where did I go wrong? Very happy with it. I like the way it looks. It's tidy, clean, holds everything in it. Probably could have done with a few more USB or fan ports, but down the bottom here, that's actually built into the motherboard. But other than that, you can just buy splitters for a lot of them, and that's what I've had to do. So yeah, just once again, key points. Remember the generation of CPUs has got to hold as well. Also, you want to make sure, you want to work out if you want to have how many graphics cards you're going to want to fit in this later on. So like this one's got one port here for it, this big white one. For me, these new gen, like one's plenty. One is plenty. I'm not going to add 2 in. One, you need a bigger case, more room, more clearance. You're going to need more power. So everything kind of adds up. But if that's something you want down the line, like go for it. For me, I knew one was enough. So that's what I went with. All right. So yeah, like I said, guys, jump online. Go and work out what you're going to want. Figure out, like, write down everything, all the things you're going to want. Write down all the features. Write down the speeds that you're going to kind of be looking at. I mean, you don't have to write that down. They're all pretty capable this day. But figure out what you want in your build. Come back. Comment on the video what you want. Like, that's a very important part, is commenting on what you want. Because the one with the most likes, again, is going to be the part that gets put into this build. But we're going to make sure they're all compatible. Like, so we're going to go on to PC part picker. So we're going to go to PC part picker, and we are going to be going drop down menu Australia. So this is also what gives us a budget as well. So if you're in the US, everything might look a bit cheaper, but I'm going to be doing, I'm going to go builder, and we're going to be choosing the parts on here. We'll be sharing this link as well, so everyone knows what's already in there and they can find what's compatible. You can also use this to choose a motherboard, for example. So, you know, you might be thinking that you want to go an Intel i9. So we'll go Intel i9, just add that in. Now it's going to show you what's a compatible motherboard. And same, vice versa with the other ones as well. So like, just jump back and forth between this, even if you want to, and just figure out what you like, what's compatible. Come back, let me know what you like. Let everyone else know what you think is a good choice. And then we'll jump around and, you know, you can have a discussion as well. You know, people can question you, like, why I picked this, not this, and give your input. They can give their input, and you can all come to a decision. So, yeah, even if it's like a replied comment that's got the most likes, we'll still be going off that as well, because they're giving an input off your comment. Sweet. So there, guys, that covers my 5 that I was looking at when I was going to build my computer. Obviously, everyone's got a different opinion on what they prefer, but that was on my short list, and they're the ones I went with. Do your research, figure out what you want, because I'm not an expert on this sort of stuff. I'm just here to bring a community together, build some cool computers, and give them away to everyone. Well, that's the plan, try and give them away to everyone, like help everyone out, because this day and age, everything's a bit tough, finances are a bit tight, so I want to make this channel to help others out. And with the revenue, if it gets that stage like that, it starts bringing in revenue for me, that revenue is going to be going straight into the build. So these builds are going to get bigger and better every time. So remember to subscribe, like the video, share it around, because every little bit is going to help this channel and help everyone else in the community. So thank you once again for watching. Don't forget, comment your favorite part that you want. Like I said, I've shown what I've gone through, but everyone's different. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.